Howdy folks, welcome back to Rest of the Garage. For this week's video, I wanted to do a video on changing the brake calipers on my Bronco. I had a couple issues, I had to order some parts, so we're not going to do that just now. I didn't have time to do something else, so I think I'm just going to do a little tour just about what we got going on here. So obviously here's my 1984 Bronco, nicknamed the Bastard. You've seen it on here a lot, kind of my number one project right now. She's got leaf spring front conversion from Sky's Off-Road Design. Those are 2002 F250 axles. The wheels are from an H1 military Humvee, and it's actually my second set. I bought one set and two of them were bad, so I looked around and found this set, a full toll set, and I picked them up like, why are they so heavy? Because they have the run flats in them still, so that's pretty neat. It's got a Tremec TR 4050 5-speed 351 Windsor. The tarp is because there's no windshield. In Hurricane Ian, a piece of debris went through the back windshield and the wind ripped out the front windshield, exposing a bunch of rust in the lower windshield channel, which is going to be another project I'm going to show on here when I get to it. This here's my 1982 Ford F-150. There's the cab for it right there, and the front clip. This is the first truck I ever bought. Bought in 2014. It had the inline 6 and the 4-speed, 4-wheel drive. Long story, I wound up taking it apart for some reason. And the bed that's on it now is actually out of an 86 truck. It's actually, I'll tell that story when I get to it, but it's a really, really nice shape for how old it is. The engine's not in great shape. It sat in the field for a while, and it got a bunch of condensation in 2 cylinders, rusted them up, so I got to rebuild that. That's going to be in a while. I need to get something in here now, which is actually what that's about. The lift kit on here is from ProComp. I bought this probably 9 years ago off of eBay. It's not bad. So a lot of the fabrication on it seems pretty decent. The welds aren't terrible. I was just a little disappointed by the fact that when the shocks got here, the shocks were crap and there was no warranty on it. So watch out for that. I may be ripping this whole front end out and doing a straight axle. It's still got the twin traction beam in here, which is great. I kind of like it. I love driving this truck when I had it. The cab needs some love. It's got quite a bit of rust, corners and rockers and floor pans and a little bit of everything. I'm actually going to rip this windshield out and put it in the Bronco when I get that fixed, because I got to fix this windshield channel also. This here's a 93 F-150 cab. I actually bought for sheet metal. I actually want it being kind of just as bad as this one. Certain spots are I can actually rip some metal off to replace. Specifically right here, this is the windshield channel out of the Bronco. So that's pretty messed up. I actually cut the one out of here. And this is where I cut the mounting points for the dash out. I'll show all that whenever I get to that video. The bed right now is loaded down with a bunch of parts. Just stuff that was kind of laying around that was in the way. So doors and fenders and all that stuff. These are the axles that came out of the Bronco. It's 9-inch. I'm going to reuse this. I had to cut all these brackets off, do something else with it. Dana 44. I was thinking about cutting the tubes off, putting the straight tubes on it, because it has these weird cast things on here for the control arms or the radius arms. I may leave them on there. I don't know. Let's see. These tires are actually going to go on the F-150. These are 35s. Those are 33s. Trailer here that we did last week or the week before, a couple weeks ago. There's our sandblast table, scrap pile, a little grinding area here. So this here is actually the same car that I was trying to pick up when I broke the other axle. I wound up borrowing my boss's trailer and got it home, and then once I got this one fixed, we drug it back on there so I have a place to store it. It's a 1975 Lincoln Mark IV. Gentleman bought it for some of the body panels for a different project. It has a 460 and a C6, which are going to go in the old pickup. Eventually I'll swap that C6 out for either put the original 4-speed back in or a 5-speed. The guy had this marked for sale for $800. I got the 4. I'm gonna rip the engine trans out of it, a few other parts. The rear end out of it's a 9-inch. It's probably gonna go in my brother-in-law's Nova. And the front suspension, a friend of ours wants to put it into another 80 to 86 truck that he has. The rest of it we'll send to a salvage yard, so somebody can hopefully get some use out of these fenders, quarters and stuff. So some of this metal's still good. So over here in the side lot, we got a couple things hanging out. We got my nephew's old motorcycle, old dirt bike. It was flooded in Ian also. It needs an engine, it needs everything. We got these propane tanks that my brother-in-law wants to turn into a couple smokers and maybe a couple fire pits or something. We'll do something cool with them. I think one of them was actually going to be like a statue or something. Got a couple boat trailers. They need some work, obviously. That one's a long story. I'm not telling that one. This smoker here, it's actually a pile of crap. We're gonna rip it off and build a new smoker. Actually, no, this one's actually for our generator. Our generator's gonna go in this trailer. This here is a 66 C10 named Beulah. It's named after my grandmother. This was not my truck. This is actually my sister's truck originally. Unfortunately, it was also killed by Ian. The engine and everything was underwater. You can tell she's just falling apart here. The roof skin got ripped off in a different storm. Rocker panel just fell off. I think the chassis is still good, but the body's gone. I think we can reuse this bed though. That's mostly solid. That trailer's basically falling apart too. It's gonna get cleaned out, torn up. Yeah, it's not supposed to do that. Well, there's your problem. Here's our A-frame gantry. It's one of the first things I fabricated when I moved to Florida. Use it for lifting engines, lifting large, heavy things. You saw me use it for hanging up stuff to paint, which is what all that wire hanging there is for hanging parts for paint. Save your old wheels and tires and make great wheel chocks and jack stand extenders. Coming back over here, once again, save your old wheels and tires. I'll actually take these, one on top of the other, put a weight plate on there, and then put my jack stand on top of that, get more lift for working on, obviously, lifted vehicles. This is the other set of my H1 wheels and tires. Two of them are actually good. The wheels, I think, are all good, but two of the tires are not. They just slowly leak, and every couple of days you gotta put air in them. These ones here, you know, if you ever need to drop an engine on something, just set it down. It's a nice little buffer. This one here, I actually tied to the front bumper of my Jeep and use it for pushing stuff around. Pretty handy. A couple wheel dollies sitting there. These are the seats that came out of the Bronco. Probably gonna reuse them, put some covers on them and stuff when I get the cab back on the truck. Just because the bench seat's not in great shape. These two trash bags here have a couple engine blocks in them I got for free from some guy years ago, and I need to get rid of them. They're actually junk. Again, they got flooded and now they're just rusted garbage. They're just in the way. These are a couple cross members from the pickup. There's old crappy bolt together roll cage that came out of the Bronco. If anybody wants it, I got it. You can have it. This is the back seat of the Bronco. I'm gonna get this reupholstered to match the Corbeau seats that are in there now. I think Corbeau actually sells the material, so I'll order the material and have somebody make me some new seat covers for this, some new foam and stuff. That's another front clip I found at a junkyard, like right after I bought my pickup. So it's good 10, 12 years old, and it's not good anymore, but I think there's a couple parts I can use off of it temporarily. Here's my little utility trailer. When I bought it, it was like a homemade camper thing, which was kind of neat, but it was done very poorly. I didn't think much about, using the space effectively. So I ripped all that out, plan on rebuilding it, and stuff happened. So now it's a tool shed. Nice thing about this, I can air up the tires because they obviously leak. And when hurricanes come around, I can hook up to it and haul it off somewhere where it won't get flooded again. Because yes, this also got flooded. That's the bench seat, the dash out of the F-150. And a little toolbox I had in there for a while. It was junk when I bought it, but I think I may or may not use it. This is the transfer case that was in the Bronco when I bought it. It was junk then, and it's definitely junk now because it is completely locked up. And the case is falling apart. I'll pull the yokes off of here and then throw it in the scrap pile. Quick public service announcement. Any kind of old oil bottles, coolant bottles, washer fluid, save them. You can put your waste oil in it, and then you can take it someplace like AutoZone or O'Reilly's, whoever recycles old oil or gets rid of it. Makes it easy just to pour the old stuff into a bottle and take it somewhere instead of having a 5-gallon bucket, which I've dealt with. Here's our busted slop sink. Still works though. Good for washing your hands or rinsing off parts or cooling off hot metal. Now I'll get some stuff that's not mine. This here, you've probably seen the background of a few videos. It's my brother's 1972 Chevy Nova. It is not a real SS. It is a SS clone. I believe it's just a base model. Unfortunately, it was also killed in Ian, and it wound up going back to a shop to get redone. And I mean, they cleaned it out. They kind of saved the body a little bit. There's still a few little rust bubbles in there, but they saved it for the most part. And then we went up there, swapped in this Blueprint 383 and a Tremec TKX 5-speed. Got this nice cold case radiator set up. This thing hauls. Yeah, but like I said, it's not mine. I didn't pay for any of this. I just helped put it in there for him. It is gorgeous. This is actually the original interior. They cleaned it up pretty good, dried it out. 5-speed stick. Still needs radio. Dakota digital dash. It needs a few things. It doesn't have seatbelts right now. One does in the back seat, but not in the front. Oh well. Oh, that is actually our radio. I'm not going to untarp these, but I got my brother-in-law's Harley. I don't know much about bikes, but it's under there. It's nice. Under here, 1940 Ford Deluxe Coupe. Numbers matching, all original, low miles. It was garage kept. They had to replace a few parts to get it to run because I think he bought it in auction. But all the parts they took off are in the car. It's really nice shit. A little checker on the paint, but it's 80-something years old, dude. It's fucking gorgeous. And then basically just got the rest of the shop. This is actually, I don't own this shop. This is my brother-in-law's garage. It's his place. He's nice enough to give me this little corner of the shop and some outdoor storage space, place to work on my stuff. The rest of this is all him. All right, so that's it for this week's video. I will be back on the Bronco next week. Come back to see that. Please hit the subscribe button, like, leave a comment if you want, whatever. I'll see ya.